Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing the products I regret purchasing in 2021. This is part of my wrap up of 2021 video series, I guess you might call it. I don't like to finish up my year in December like many other YouTube creators do because I just find, December is still a month that I'm purchasing things. With that said, I don't typically roll in anything into these videos that I purchased in December, so I guess I could. Long story short, I have this on my list to do. So these are the products that I purchased in 2021 that I regret purchasing in 2021, and I hope that you're in for it. For those of you new here today, hi, my name is Donna. I am a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry, so I like bringing you all the education that I get from my position in the beauty industry as a district leader for Ulta. So I do a lot of reviews here on this channel. I also do a lot of hauling on this channel. I also just love general makeup chit chat. So you people are my people to come to talk to. Ain't nobody in my life giving a poop about what I have to say about makeup, but you all do. And you are my friends. And I appreciate every single one of you so much. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you jump in, have fun with us. Come join our little YouTube fam here because we're all quite amazing, to be honest. So let's roll into this products I regret purchasing in 2021 video. There wasn't much that I purchased in 2021, period. Let's start there. I started the year 2021 off with a mindset of quality over quantity. So much of what I purchased in 2021 came into my collection because it was earnestly something that I had wanted for years, or brands that I wanted to try, or, just things like that, right? Things that I had wanted, that I had stewed on for quite some time, or things that I knew that I would enjoy. So quality over quantity. So sitting before me is maybe a handful of products, but also in addition to quality over quantity, I didn't really spend that much on beauty. If I think through specifically the last 4 months, I don't think I've purchased much actually when it comes to beauty products. So the first part of the year I did kind of go crazy just a little bit, but a lot of those were, like I said, things that I had stewed on for years or brands that I wanted to try. So when I look at the products that are sitting before me, these make sense to me. These make sense to me because they were purchases that probably should never have been made in the first place. So we are going to go through all the products in my collection that I purchased last year that I don't think I should have purchased. Hindsight is everything, right? The first thing I'm going to start with are these guys here. So I purchased I think it was in February and also in March, some Fenty Beauty products, none of which are, fantastic. And I was suckered into them because of after Christmas sales. So one of the products that I have here are these two products here. One is a highlight and one is a cream blush. This is a full-size cream blush in Fenty Glow, and this one is a mini Fenty Glow highlight. It also came with a Fenty Glow lip gloss. I love the Fenty lip glosses, so that is not in this for that reason. But I could have just purchased the Fenty lip gloss, and instead I purchased the kit that also had these two things in it. Granted, I got them on a sale, which I'm very, very happy about because both of these items were a no-go for me. This highlight I even put into a Shop My Stash and decluttered since it just happens to still be sitting in my room. So the highlight has already been decluttered from my collection, and this blush is just not my favorite blush. I think that it could be beautiful. It really could be. It looks very apricot-y, kind of peachy, really pretty, but they just don't stay on my face. I have real high markers for what I anticipate a cream blush is going to do for me because I have an LYS blush that's a cream blush that is amazing. That sucker costs $18. I have a Patrick Ta blush, the cream duos that are amazing, and that one lasts all dang day. So this one just didn't live up to the other cream blushes in my collection, and the potential that they showed me was real for a cream blush. So I don't necessarily hate the color. I love the color. I think it's just not a great blush. And to go along with that, I purchased this one the month after getting these because I was so fascinated with the whole cream blush process. I thought these were going to be amazing blushes because I really do love Fenty for the most part. These just, they aren't. And this one is really pigmented, really, really beautiful, really has that like deepening tone to it. I should have figured out how I felt about the first one before I purchased a second one because these aren't cheap. They're tiny and they're not cheap. They'll probably stay in my collection because I do enjoy the color and they're good in a pinch, but they're not products that I needed in my collection. They're products that I actually, when it comes to decluttering, I think, well, I spent like a grip ton of money on those. So should I keep them or no? If it came down to them or another blush in my collection that was going to stay that I loved but wasn't as costly, those would certainly go, and that makes me sad. The next thing I regret is this. It is the Huda Beauty Lifeliner. Now, y'all, this is the eyeliner that I am wearing today. And I do think that it is a kick-ass eyeliner. It goes on really black. It stays really black. The eyeliner pencil part is even really good. It blends out really well. It is also on my lower lash line. I really like this eyeliner, so to speak. So I go into this products I regret purchasing with a different kind of mindset because I really do like the product. I really do think it does what it says it's gonna do. What I hate about this is that the liquid eyeliner in this is like tar. So with liquid eyeliner, you have to get right up against your lash line in order for it to not show, you know, the skin, in order for it not to look stupid on your eye. This is like tar in your lashes. It is the hardest thing to get out of your lashes. And when you put this on, you have to go through your lashes with a lash comb to make sure that the eyeliner is not like gripping onto your eyelashes in any specific way, or your mascara will not look the way it's supposed to look because it'll be clumpy and messy and gross because your lashes are all stuck together at the bottom because of this liner. I just think that I don't like anything that makes my lashes feel that way. So this I could have done without. I do think it works well, but I have to be honest with you. I've opened it up. When I put it into my Shop My Stash-ish, because I only open up one new liner per Shop My Stash. When I opened it up in this recent Shop My Stash, I wore it, I think 4 times before I decided that it was not for me. And this is the first time I've worn it in like a month. It's too much trouble. It's more trouble than what it's worth, to be honest. The next thing I have in here is this. And if you didn't see this coming, you should have. How many of you got sucked into the ABH Iced Out train and hate your life since? Like, this was not a gorgeous highlight. It is beautiful in the pan, but then it goes onto your skin and it kind of looks green. It is gold and it's looking real gold on my hand right now. But on my face, it really gives kind of a green cast, and nobody's got time for that. Nobody's got time to look green. I don't understand why it looks green even, because it's not green in the pan. It is white, and you can see a slight like goldiness to it when you like kind of flip it on its side and are looking at its like 3D effect. It is beautiful. But this is a highlighter that I purchased, I wore maybe twice, and I will never wear again. So it'll go into my declutter before it ever gets used. As a matter of fact, it'll probably go into my highlight declutter for this year when I decide to finally get to my highlight declutters. So what was I thinking? I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking that the Emreezy highlighter is beautiful, and that one has the same formula as the Emreezy highlighter, but it doesn't. They lied to you, because this one is full of glitter and the Emreezy highlight is not. Number one, and I ain't got time for all that glitter on my face. I don't want to have to like be working at getting the glitter off my face for the next 10 years, number one. But number two, it turns green on my skin, and I don't know what that's about because it doesn't look green in the pan. All right, the next product that I have on this list is actually this guy. So I just did a palette roulette on this, and I will go ahead and link that up in the cards. It's not a horrible palette, but the colors that I want in this color story I have in my collection already. I was drawn into it because of the color. This is how Morphe wins, because they put 35 beautiful colors together, slap them into a palette, and everybody is sucked into the color story. And I said at the beginning of this year that Morphe doesn't have anything that I need to purchase from them. And I wasn't lying. Morphe doesn't have anything that I need to purchase from them. This is the only Morphe product that I purchased last year. I so regret purchasing this palette. And I think at that moment I was like, I got suckered in. My arch expert talked me into it. Number one, she's no longer at that store, which is sad because I love her, but also glad. My pocketbook is glad for it. My arch expert suckered me into it. I just don't need Morphe in my collection. I don't. And all the palettes that I have from Morphe, or at least a good share of the palettes that I have from Morphe, good share of the product that I have from Morphe, was given to me at GMC or something, gifted to me in some way. Or came in a BoxyCharm or something like that. This is one of the only palettes that I have ever purchased from Morphe. Why I thought I needed to purchase this, I do not know. I do not know. It's not even my aesthetic. It is full of, it's like 3 rows of pastels. Do you all know that I don't like pastels? I know I don't like pastels. You know I don't like pastels. I'm sure when I hauled this in, I had a grip ton of you going, you're not even going to like that, Donna. You're right. I don't like it. I regret purchasing it. It was, you know, an amount of money that I'll never get back for this palette that I will never use. The next thing is the Colourpop Juicy Boost palette. Now, again, treading lightly with this guy because I don't necessarily regret wholeheartedly this purchase, because I did like working with the palette, but I wish I had purchased it in a flat lay, number one. Number two, I have one whole section of this palette that I won't even use because these shimmers are shit, and because this is all pastels. Again, I don't use pastels. I was so excited about this collection. I think that they won me over. These are beautiful. I think that they won me over because of all the other components that came with it. Like the umbrella was awesome and the juice cup was awesome, but I didn't even purchase any of those things. This is a beautiful color story on this section, but they also aren't 100% amazing. I have a lot of good things to say about Colored Rain's formula, but this wasn't a good display of Colored Rain's formula. Like, Colored Rain palettes are phenomenal. I have a lot of great, phenomenal Colored Rain in my collection. This was not one of them. I did have a good time as far as being able to come up with some crazy awesome eye looks. I have a palette roulette on it. I'll stick it up in the cards for you. It wasn't one that I hated necessarily, but it also wasn't one that I needed in my collection. Half of this palette I won't even use. For me, that makes it a regret in my mind, because half the palette I won't use, and the other half of the palette I won't pull for over other palettes in my collection, which means it'll probably go unused as well. Not because it was horrible, but because it just wasn't as great as some of the others in my collection. The next thing I have is this, and it is the IT Cosmetics Press Powder. How many of you saw this coming? Because when I rolled this into my collection, I remember watching that video back going, That's dumb. That's dumb. Why did you purchase that again? So I have used this. Obviously, it does appear to be used, right? And I have used it with this guy even to see if it was any better. I hate this powder. It is super silky, and I ended up purchasing it because we took a class on it and they said that it, you know, was made of silk and it was super, not like pore filling, but pore blurring. I don't like pore filling products. I haven't had one thing yet besides brushes that I take that back. I love the IT Cosmetics Superhero Liner, but every other thing that I have tried from IT Cosmetics has not been phenomenal for me. Right down to the foundation, right down to the brow pencil, right down to everything. Why I thought I needed to purchase this, I don't know. There are just some brands that you love and some brands that you don't. I don't love IT Cosmetics. So even taking that class, I should have known better. But I also don't wear powder. Why am I like this, you all? I hated this powder. It also leaves an incredible white cast and changes the tone or the color of the product that I have on my face. Like if I used it as a finishing powder, which is what I think it's supposed to be for, Air Dust Finish Press Powder. If I use it as a finishing powder, it changes, it makes everything more dull on my face, and who wants that? Like I don't want that. So it's in my Shop My Stash currently. It'll probably go into declutter when it comes out of my Shop My Stash. I just don't like it. I just won't wear it. The next thing I have is this, and this is the Colourpop Eye Primer, and this is in the shade Camouflage, and I'm not sure if this is a color issue or if this is actually the eye primer issue. I don't think that it's a wonderful eye primer to begin with, but look at this color. Why I purchased this color, I will never know. But I really thought that these were going to be more like the MAC paint pots, and they're just not. They're creamy, yes. But they're also kind of like stiff and sticky, which I don't like. And it's not like sticky, like tacky sticky or creamy sticky. It's like sticky. It's the weirdest feeling, and I can't handle it as an eye primer. In addition to the fact that I obviously purchased a brown. Why I thought Camouflage wasn't going to be a brown, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased that, but it changes the color of the makeup on my eye. Whereas when I use the MAC paint pots, I don't feel like they do that. Unless they're, you know, a colored paint pot. But like Painterly and Soft Ochre, I don't feel like it negotiates the colors that I'm putting on my eyes in a way that is, you know, visibly impactful. That does. And I don't like using it as an eye primer. And then when it dries down, it's very, like I said, very stiff feeling. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm really, I think when it comes down to it, it's both color and formula of that product that I don't get along with. The next thing is this, and it is the Beauty Say What foundation. You guys, this was so hyped. Everybody seemed to love this stuff. I think it is just so watery. Like when I think about it, like shake it up, give it a fair shot here. Shake it up. When I put it onto my palette, and then I tip it over and it just starts draining like that. It's just so watery and it sinks into your skin so quickly. And I don't think it has as much coverage as it boasts. Am I doing something wrong? Please help me out, because is it supposed to be a skin tint? Because I think that would change my mind on it. But it says it's a foundation. It says weightless, soft, matte, hydrating foundation. It doesn't say anything for medium coverage. I feel like it's light to medium at best, not medium at all. And I don't mind building up a foundation, but it feels like a thicker version of the Dior Face and Body, which makes sense to me that Dior Face and Body is the way that it is, but it doesn't make sense to me that the Uoma Beauty is like that. And I feel like it's not just the consistency of it that I don't like. I also don't like what it looks like on my face. For a hydrating foundation, I feel like it's actually quite drying or appears quite dry on my skin. And I think that it's awesome that it is so many people's favorites, but what am I doing wrong? I would love to get it to work for me. So if you use this foundation, what do you use with it to make it look perfection on your face? Because I just don't feel like mine looks like perfection on my face. This is one of my favorite formulas of lip gloss. I love the Buxom lip glosses. Can you guys take a guess as to why I don't like this one? This color is so awful on my complexion. It just kind of blends in and makes me look like I'm wearing concealer on my lips. Do you guys see that? It's just too yellow. It's just too yellow for my complexion. This was not a bad, like, these are not bad lip glosses. That was just a bad color. I've worn it twice. Haven't worn it since. Do we remember me bringing this in? I said, I don't need a rainbow highlighter. And Lauren May Beauty did a video about the fact that there was no wonder why this was on sale. I do not need a rainbow highlight. Do you see how old I am? Do you see all these gray hairs? Like, what am I to do with a rainbow highlight? In addition to the fact that I knew at the time I purchased it that it was kind of silver in tone, and it's silver in tone. When you put it on, it's very like, why? Why would I purchase this? Because it's pretty. I'm going to quit buying things because of their packaging. I just think, or their presentation, I just think that that is a lot of what draws me in. And I think it was really stupid. This was a waste of money. Another waste of money. Rare Beauty. Another thing I purchased because of the packaging. Look how pretty this is. Look at how beautiful. It's like a little pill box. It is so cute. It's so cute. This is one of the Rare Beauty cream blushes, and this one is a Nearly Mauve. This, again, beautiful blush. I mean, that blush tone is really dang pretty. It would be best if it stayed on my skin. So whereas the Fenty ones stay on my skin for a good probably 4 to 5 hours before I notice significant fading, this one, I can't even get it to last that long. Maybe a couple hours before significant fading. If I don't put it on in just a certain way, like it breaks up the makeup underneath it, even if the makeup underneath it is cream, and forget putting it over a powder. This one, at least I can say you can put over a powder and it looks really good. This one, not a chance in hell. It doesn't stay on very long. I think it's maybe just a smidge bit too creamy, whereas when you put your fingers into this one, it kind of feels hard packed, almost like a hardened coconut oil to some extent, and gets kind of creamy to the touch. This one, like, I could probably stick my finger all the way through it without even thinking about it. Like, it's just so creamy. I feel like I've tried this with a brush. I've tried it with a sponge. I've tried it with my finger. If you guys are using this, how are you using this? I would love to know how you make it work for you and make it stay. I can't put powder over the top of it unless it's another blush, because otherwise it looks patchy. I'm sad. I'm sad that this isn't good, that it's not, I mean, for me anyways, it's not good. So I'm canceling all of my subscription services because I just don't find that they're worth it anymore. And that was, I guess, a regret of mine for the year 2021, was resubscribing to a couple things I had already unsubscribed from. And then the last thing that I really have to talk about is this. So this is another one of those things that I'm going to go into really lightly because I do like the palette. I do. I just had a really hard time working with this palette. And I think it's not necessarily the formula of the shadows, but maybe the coloration of the shadows. Like, there are some beautiful shadows in here, and I was able to get some really beautiful looks. But when it comes down to it, I bought 2 different palettes from Be Perfect. It was this one and the Carnival 3. And when it comes down to it, I wouldn't pick this one over the Carnival 3. I don't know where I died. So When it comes down to the products that I think I truly wasted my money on, that I won't get any use out of, I think this, you know, these guys, obviously this one, because I've already decluttered it, this, this will go right up in there. This will go right up in there. This probably won't see any use in my collection. So a good majority of these are things that I know will not get use out of my collection, will probably go into a declutter at some point soon. These 3 items are kind of hit and miss. They're kind of like it is or it isn't. It is what it is kind of moment. But I could have done without these and been perfectly fine. You know what you know now, you know? So like no regrets as far as that goes, but regrets? Yep. I have some regrets. That's really where I'm going with this. There was some money that could have been saved. Now, again, I could have had so much more in this video to talk about, but I don't. And I'm super glad about that, because that means for the most part, I made some pretty wise decisions in 2021 on the products that I was purchasing. Like I went into that year thinking quality over quantity. I think I stuck by that for the most part pretty dang well. I think that there was an issue with overspend in one month in particular. The thumbnail says I blacked out. I'll put it up here for you guys, because I truly did purchase way too much, and that's kind of where this palette come in, and that's where this palette came in, and I think that's where, you know, some of this Morphe palette even came in during that time frame. I'm really proud of not spending in a way last year that caused a lot of regret, because there is a lot of regret in this collection. I'm sure of it, but not last year. So those were the products that I purchased in 2021 that I could legitimately say I could have done without. I am maybe sorry that I even spent the money on it. I thought about too, like I purchased quite a few Natasha Denona palettes. When I think through the lens of Natasha Denona palettes that I purchased that aren't maybe necessarily my favorite, Circo Loco comes to mind, Glam comes to mind, Zendo even. But I'm not sad that I have those, because when it comes down to it, they would be a palette of choice, palette that I would keep in my collection because of the formula of them. So like if it came down to, you know, a black and white palette by, you know, Colourpop, or a black and white palette by Natasha Denona, it would be definitely the Natasha Denona palette that I picked, because I love that formula so much. And it's not as inconsistent as, say, a Colourpop formula or Morphe. So when I think about regrets, it's really about what I know is not going to get any more use out of my collection than what it has at this point in time. These are the items. These are definitely the items that I purchased last year. What did you purchase last year that you regret? I would be super interested to know. Please let me know down in the comments section. I would be happy to hear from you. And I do look at and respond to each one of my comments, every single comment. So please let me know down there. I hope that you enjoyed the video today, and I hope that you also enjoyed it enough that you're considering giving it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels. Again, like at the beginning, I said I would love to have you subscribe. I really would. Please let me know down in my comment section if you subscribe. I would love to welcome you personally. I also hope that 2022 has been amazing for you so far. I hope that your holiday season was awesome, and I am just hoping that y'all are healthy and that your family is healthy, that you all are safe, that you're doing well, that you are loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.